going on, everybody? It's been a long time since we did a live stream like this. So let's knock off the cobwebs and get started. Part of it is a disciplinary thing. If I'm streaming and chatting, I'm not wasting time playing around on the phone or getting distracted by other things. You know, what should I watch next? What song should I listen to next? This is a Switchblade Shorties strip. Been using markers for it, Copics. Really got turned on to them when I went to Japan the first time. Had some buds put these things into my hands before I split, and it wasn't until COVID that I just dusted off the little set that my homeboy Tsune hooked me up with. And then there was just no going back. Compared to Microns, the blacks are blacker. Microns, as you may know if you're a maker, they're kind of a sepia, certainly when you erase over top of them. So I just kind of go back and forth with a blend between the basic lines that you see already. Those are the 1.0. Read any good classic comic strips lately? Tons, man. But what's been capturing my attention lately is Barks. I got that book, Carl Barks Conversations, and dusted off my old Barks books, and then read all of those. So then I hit up my guys at Fantagraphics and was like, it's been a while since I re-upped and got some fresh. I just realized that the light source is in the wrong place there. So just yesterday, along with my comps for the Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus, came nine Carl Barks duck books that I didn't have. So I look forward to checking those out. At this point, I think there's only maybe 5 more left that they have to publish, and it's a lot of the kind of also ran stuff, the earliest works that might not be the real important things. Yeah, Barnaby's awesome. Have two volumes of that, and I think that becomes a ghost after that, who does either the writing or the art. I forget which. Let's see. I believe this is strip 78, if I'm not mistaken. I've not really checked out Don Rosa's duck books, really. I know that there's a real argument in other countries about who's the man. But even Don Rosa says that, Carl Barks is the jam. So I think that a lot of those people in Europe who are making those arguments, it's probably a nostalgia bend. But I mean, the craft is incredible from Don Rosa, for sure. And with Barks in mind, the format of these strips, one page of Barks is 2 of these. So I also figured out the exact size for the lettering too. I just scanned in a page and then blew it up to the 10 by 15 image area. and then kind of made a lettering guide after I saw how big Barks was. Barks' lettering fonts. You're going to have to forgive me rambling a little bit, man, because I am concentrating, so trying to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Now, it's not really saving the face for last. I just try to use one tool at a time, so I put the kind of boldest lines down first and just kind of get marks all over the page, and then just go in and finish each panel at a time. You know, there's still lots of work to do, and I'm gonna go visit the fam around 2:30 Eastern, and I wanted to put in a real effort before I head over. So by doing a stream, yeah, I'll look over and I'll see questions and stuff and answer them here and there. But I feel like I procrastinate a little bit when I'm not kind of being accountable to the page. You know, I'll fuck around on the phone, or I'll be indecisive about what I want to watch or listen to. I have been listening to the third act of the Sandman Audible audiobook series, radio drama, whatever. Hard to classify because it has multiple actors. You know, it's kind of a play, music and stuff. I'll make this black. Nah, the Liefeld mini comic is exclusive to the box sets. And by the way, thank you guys so much for ordering Hip Hop Family Tree the way you've been. Like, we've been really, really stoked. Final order cutoff for comic shops through Diamond was this past Monday. And if you watch the weekly, like, we got the feedback about, you know, everybody who ordered straight from Diamond, you know, the shops. And the number was whatever. And then when we got the bookstore numbers and the Amazon numbers, it all made sense, man. The direct market, the people who just order exclusively through Diamond, that shit is going away. That shit is lower and lower. And it makes sense. Some retailers hit us up and said that the book trade, the booksellers who are selling Hip Hop Family Tree, they get a 50% off discount compared to whatever it is that Diamond provides. I don't even know if that stuff is interesting. I often want to leave that kind of talk out of the channel in a lot of ways because it's that Steve Jobs shit. Like, maybe it doesn't matter the technology that's in the soles of the shoes. Maybe it's what the shoes can do for you. But I feel like everybody has such an intimate relationship with comics. They all kind of know the score. You know, we try to strike a balance with the channel. People who are hip to the nitty gritty, the inside baseball, and then be inclusive to the more noobs, the more noob type energy. Then I had these markers that they didn't quite. I tried to be slick and like cut the tips off in weird angles to give myself some cool lettering, and it just didn't quite work out. So they're not worth much. They're just good for kind of filling in black areas and stuff, but they're a little chaotic. do very little penciling these days. You know, talk about 74, 75 strips to kind of get comfortable with, like, trusting myself to draw in ink. It's not to say that it's a blank page. There's certainly guidelines. And if I need to, you know, I'm not trying to set myself up to fuck up. Like, if there's something that feels complicated, I will be penciling it. But there's a real sense of freedom in being able to kind of have a little bit of confidence and just kind of go in and do some things. Nah, I don't think I'm destined to be working in collaboration on comics with anybody. I just don't want to have to put that kind of trust into somebody. It would have to be such a perfect fit, because no matter what, my comics, you know, live and die by my hand. So if you like it, that's all me. If you don't, that's all me too. And I would hate to put in a massive effort with somebody who isn't, you know, carrying the ball and doing their best. Or if they're misguided. It just sounds like a fucking nightmare, really. And you see so much of it. You know, it's rarely the art that's the shitty part in professional comics. You know, everybody has a kind of a baseline for what being a pro is when it comes to art, and I suppose that they do with writing too, but it feels like there's a much lower barrier to entry in that aspect, man, because, man, there's a lot of comics out there that read for crap. Trying to evenly distribute some black areas. Yeah, Joe, it was great having Uncle Warren come through. Got an email from him a little bit earlier, and he wanted to kind of call dibs on certain comics for next time he comes through, and I was very comfortable with that. You know, the things that he called out were not comics that immediately came to mind as something that me and Jimmy would be talking about. It's kind of fascinating, man. You know, you just put that little shadow under the ball, and it just gives it that life. It makes it feel a little bit more solid of a environment. Actually. Got somebody from Brazil. We got somebody from Poland. Where are you checking this out at? And if you're a maker, what are you working on? In the past, that was always a very fun thing to discover, that so many of you are out there kind of hanging out making comics yourself. I want to think of this as wood a little bit. Not too much. Imagine that it's painted a bit, but still let it be known that it's wood. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do this round of bricks. I do often have sound effects that go along with my drawing process. I I do confess. You and good luck on the 2000 AD pages. I got hit up probably last year to do some stuff, but even just doing work for hire in total, even if I do write it and everything, that just is less sexy than generating your own stuff if you have that ability. There's a place for pencilers and inkers and all that stuff, but I also think that you should take that shot and just make your own work and see what that's like. It's always much more interesting to me, but we got to pay the bills, right? So it's all good. But it is a different business than I'm a part of. All right, we'll move on to the next. Nah, no more grand designs. They have to give me $1 million. All right, let's see. What do I want? What do I want? Being indecisive. You ever see on... Yeah, I noticed it on Instagram. But even before that, when people would just kind of show process videos or something, where like the brush is touching the canvas and they're moving colors about, it would look like they weren't doing anything really. Like, I'm sure they were, but it just didn't look like any progress was being made. That stuff kind of frustrated me. Am I a Shigeru Mizuki fan? Yes, I am. And I do like Kitaro a lot. I only have like maybe one or two collections from the stuff that Drawn and Quarterly translated. But I have a lot of his other works. I have that complete Showa era comic that he did. 2 or 3 other things. Got such a massive body of work, like really astonishing creator. Probably the most new comic that blew my mind really was Tom's, the Stan Lee book. I thought he did just an incredible job on that. Yeah, they seem to swap sides because the vanishing point is right here, which is why it's done. This ain't isometric perspective, man. Vanishing point is right there. So you're going to see this side, and then you're going to see that side right at this area. Don't you worry there, Slappy. Your boy got this. Yeah, I scan this stuff. It's a part of the gig that I do not enjoy at all. I would just rather be hanging out drawing all the time. Let me see. This is a part that I want to think about a little bit. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Cool. Some more black areas in there. Yes, super bummed, man. We're in contact with the co-creator of Foo Action, and we were very, very excited about covering that on the channel. Now, of course, we wanted to review it and stuff, so I have the PDF, and it looks freaking incredible. It's exactly what we all want, but hopefully they find a publisher that satisfies them. Yeah, I'm sure that Foo Action book is still gonna come out, but it's just gonna be delayed a little bit. And you're right, Hewlett's work is such a rare morsel that there's no reason that all of it should not be in print. Every last little piece. This is supposed to be like one of those sets of stairs that has the runner of like carpeting, and then the wood. Shouts to the homies in the Philippines, man. That's pretty friggin' cool. Yeah, it's a good question about doing like an intro vid for Switchblade shorties. Probably December time. Though I should do something to get early adopters on board, because I definitely want people to see it right now, which is part of why I'm even kicking it right here with you guys. No, I don't go that small. The lowest I go is 0.1 with the Copics, and I don't use them for much. I'm gonna save this part for when I'm not streaming because there's some complication to it. I really want to shut my mouth and think about that. So I'll work on some of the more fun stuff. See, with like some of these faces, I want them to be kind of specific, so I'll pencil them out a little bit. I always talk about it like as a movie director, if you're not getting the performance that you want, you could just erase them. And get that performance that you want. Try again. Yeah, that seems fine. Not going to be any Sundays that are like in color or whatever for Switchblade, because this shit takes me a long time, man. And even this week, without any real delays or impediments to my process, I think I'm only going to get 5 done. So I'm just not quick enough. I think early on I had an idea of using maybe more spare lines and doing some color and things on most of the strips, but getting that figured out was a challenge. So I'll get 100 of these things done, or 100 plus, hopefully, by January 1st. Start putting them out on the daily, and then, you know, whatever happens, happens. If it gets caught up to where I'm working, you know, bottlenecks and the queue goes away, then I'll just post strips every time I finish one. That's all. You know, I'm not getting paid right now on this stuff, so I have to keep that sort of thing in mind. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna come up with a Kayfabe Tober list and send it off to Jimmy probably today. And then we'll show it off on the weekly. I want these daily strips to have some rigor to them, man, to like sort of the same level of craft that I put into just the pages in my comics. So that's where the bottleneck is happening. I was thinking like, oh man, maybe I'll try to get to a place where I figure out the perfect lines so that I can be a little bit more clean about it, yada yada. But turns out I didn't like it as much. You know, I wanna fuss. I wanna mess around. You know, I wanna put some detail into my shit. Rob, what's going on, man? Glad to see you popping up in the stream, sir. I get what you're saying too, man. Like when I was in art school, being able to pop into other dudes' rooms and seeing the stuff they were working on, super inspiring. One of the ways the girls communicate with each other is by having a network of plastic cups on strings, going to each other's houses. It's something I always wish, like whenever we would figure that out in school, I thought it would be a cool thing to be able to set that up with like the dude that lived next door and things. Hey Rob, I put like the faintest of guides in Procreate. Like if you could see here, it might not be very clear, but like I'll put the perspective grid down and it's just very loose kind of wireframe. But I do want it to have a little of that spontaneity of line, like you have in your sketchbooks. That sort of line would be in the daily strips when those guys are really cooking. we moved around a lot when I was young. My dad had to kind of chase the jobs and get placed sort of all over the place. So we lived in a lot of different houses, and each of my characters lives in some version of the old houses that we had, which is key because I can keep the geography of these houses pretty straight. And my family really likes seeing them drawn. You know, because like I do not profess to have any kind of photographic memory, but if you understand, if you just remember the geography of your crib, it's just lines on paper, right? So you can get the basic geography onto the page. The very first award I ever got as a kid for doing art was in the 6th grade, and I drew my bedroom in a first person kind of view, and that's the bedroom that would be this character's. And when I showed it off, like I showed it to my dad, he was so bummed that I was drawing the cracks in the walls. Let's see, if I wanted to be stuffy and constipated, I would run a ruler to make sure that it's always perfect. But I like seeing that hand. You know, I'm reading a lot of strips, and seeing that hand is a treat. You know, acknowledging that it's a drawing. It's one of the big pieces that's missing with that digital shit. Every line perfect, it lacks that humanity. So we were joking with that term, artisanal comics. Bean to bar, farm to table, motherfucking comic books. And also, man, geez, at this point, me and my buds are some of the only people generating original artwork anymore. I'm trying to figure out, like, I got this network of wires outside the window. How do I want that to look? Just do it like that. Fuck it. Who cares? Use a slightly jankier pen for some of the fussy crosshatch. forgot. This is a fall. This is a fall story, Halloween story. So there can't be trees with all sorts of leaves on them. So with that in mind, I think having twiggy looking trees will sort of get in the way. So maybe I'll just do like atmospheric sky texture. And try to remember not to touch this shit that is over top of the whiteout. I'm sure I'll smudge it. You'll hear me shout expletives over the course of the stream, I'm sure, for doing just that. It's a more fall sky looking thing. Preston, thanks for that super chat, man. Road to Perdition, good idea. More than Road to Perdition, I really want to talk to Max Allan Collins for a lot of reasons. You know, ghostwriter for Mickey Spillane, took over the Dick Tracy strip, and a lot of you guys know that I'm a big Dick Tracy mark. It was his Dick Tracy that was in our paper when I was a kid. Road to Perdition, all of that stuff, sure. Ms. Tree is dope. Doing the Ms. Tree comic that was like a DC Ms. Tree Quarterly, when there was very few, if not like fucking zero, creator-owned comics like within that system. So that would be a interesting round of questioning. How that was possible. And with that in mind, Terry Beatty. You know, I'd like to chat with that guy. I think he took over stuff like Rex Morgan MD and any number of daily comic strips. So yeah, I never even seen the movie. I'm just, I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. Don't really follow the Marvel movies. Every now and then, man, like when I'm on the plane to Japan or something, I put on that Batman flick with with Team Edward from Twilight and just fell asleep, really. I will say that those flicks, they make me love the comics. I'll say that, man. I see those and then I just kind of want to turn them off and grab a comic or make a comic. But I just don't go to comic movies for my cinema needs. Consider me in the Scorsese camp. Much as that hurts some of your feelings, I'm sure. Be sure to roast me online. But do so after you buy the book, of course. Take care, Rob. Thanks for stopping through. I got about an hour more that I could do tops while streaming. Heading over to the fam myself. I'm going to see everybody. Sunday ritual. I'm going to start putting these strips out January 1st, 2024. So this one will come out in March sometime, I guess. You know, this is strip 78, I think. Let me see. Oh no, this is strip 79. What's the date today? 9/24/23. And then let me just make sure that it's 79. No, 78. Had to look through my Google Drive. Yeah, man. Bust out some paper and let's bring the comic strip back. I really see Instagram as a great distribution mechanism. Now that it has a swipe. And I say now that it has a swipe, it's had the swipe for years. And I've intended on doing comic strips on Instagram since I was doing X-Men Grand Design. That's like when the swipe got put onto Instagram, because you remember it was just a single image. And as soon as I saw that, I wanted to quit X-Men Grand Design and just fucking basically do this. And I couldn't do it with Red Room because of the subject matter. Like, that would just get flagged and ruin my account. So that's something you have to kind of keep in mind. I was going to use zips and stuff for grays. I did that on the first, say, 5 pages. But there's just something about just showing all the work in pen and ink that attracts me to this approach. And in the golden age of strips, there was no zips. Those, like we did that Alex Raymond video yesterday, he's getting all those tones and stuff. Well, no, that's not true. He used zip on some of that stuff, that Rip Kirby stuff, but he got a lot of that stuff done practically. And more people using all kinds of tricks online. So I think it becomes cooler and cooler to just show off some comics that with no bells and whistles. Well, I just actually got a text that lunch is going to be ready soonish, so I'm going to get bouncing pretty soon. Because I am getting hungry. And I am excited to see the fam. Always look forward to it. Playing with these kinds of characters makes me excited to just play around with iconography too, like those fingernails and stuff. Just coming up with shorthands, cartooning shorthands for things. Once again, I want to thank everybody who pledged their order of the Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus. Getting those numbers back was very, very exciting. And if you have a good comic shop, let them know so that they can scoop it up. But there's pretty much 25% of them left of this first print run that haven't been accounted for yet by anybody. And we still have 4 weeks before the thing comes out. So it's very cool. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much about the comment about the distribution of like the black areas and things. Like with the best of comic strips, from the stuff that I was looking at, they make good use of black, white, and gray. And that's something that I definitely wanted to make good use of myself. With this panel here, I envision some speed lines, like manga style speed lines. So let's put those on there. That requires you to tape your piece down. Running low on art tape there on that roll. This is where I'll put my 0.1s and 0.3s to use. I have to put it way high like that, unfortunately, where the camera is concerned, because the T-square is on my light table and the paper was coming kind of off the edge. You don't want to bend the paper. So, many apologies for not kind of giving you the best angle. The other thing with this is it creates a nice kind of gray pattern in the back that continues that black, white, gray motif of just distributing those colors. And I like to almost get like a 33% distribution of black, white, and gray across a strip. Yeah, it's so funny that doing these streams and not really screwing around on the phone and everything. Like I know I would not be this far if I was just left to my own devices. So in some ways, this stream is an accountability mechanism for sure. But I'm thinking once I close this one down, because I have this page up there to do that panel, like that's going to require some MFing and some headspace, so I'm going to have to do that one on my own. Cool. Simple as that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. These eyes a little bit. Alright, I think I'm gonna split. So shit, man. We got a good chunk of pages done. Good chunk of the page, I should say. Just inside of this, like, what was it, like an hour? Super fun kicking it with you guys. Hit the link that I pinned up top. Scoop up your copy of the Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus. I think it'd be cool if we could get that thing to sell out before it even hits the store shelves. So make that happen, man. Put the Kayfabe effect to use for us for a change. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. New videos every day. Did a grip of stuff with Uncle Warren, so the Uncle Warren conversation is going to keep flowing. Thank you guys so much for supporting our work, and I'm going to split. Everybody have a nice weekend, and we'll try to deliver you a real cool video to start off your Monday.